Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Got you an update on your forecast as we'll be watching chances to likely chances of rain for the next 7 days again here for the state. For the next 5 days, potential precipitation here. The blues are around anywhere from a ½ inch to 1.25 inches with a 1 to 2 inch range favoring west and northeastern areas of the state, with locally higher amounts too. Today and tonight, remember the phrase, turn around, don't drown, that we say all the time. If you find any flooded areas, be sure to never drive through those. We have a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain Friday night favoring northwestern areas of the state. For that flash flood potential, some flood watches out as a result too. Cities like Huntington, Parkersburg, and other areas in the green favoring areas of Ohio and Kentucky as well. Could see some locally higher amounts of rain just here in the short term, with some moisture increasing. Had a high of 67 yesterday. Showers are generally likely for most of the state, with some pockets of moderate to heavy and excessive rain still playing out tonight. Again, more rounds of rain on the way. Flies here over forecast. It starts at home. Earlier this week, the New York City and Chicago area, they had some flash flooding too. Tampa's still heating up near 94. Watching for showers and storms popping up in areas of Florida today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, 60s for highs, low to mid 60s, lows in the mid 50s tonight. Showers and storms likely. Be mindful of any flash flooding potential. Eastern areas, showers become likely later in the day. Tonight as well, chance of thunderstorms, lows in the upper 40s. From east to west, 60s out east, 70s out west. Be mindful of any heavy rain, lows in the 50s tonight. And in western areas, again, be mindful of that marginal to slight risk of excessive rainfall today and tonight. Warm front for the holiday weekend, 81 on Memorial Day, and again for the next 7 days, likely chances of passing showers and storms with some warmer highs in the 80s through next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Live from West Virginia's capital city with news from across the state. This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law, with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and Metro News' Dave Allen.
Jeff Jenkins in for Dave Allen this hour. The justices say they have new money. That and more coming up.
Metro News Midday is presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com. Join in by calling 800-765-8255 or text 304-TALK-304. Let's go live to downtown Charleston. Here's Dave Allen.
Jeff Jenkins in for Dave Allen on this final hour of the week, going into a holiday weekend. And thanks for joining us. And this hour, we got a lot to get done. This is going to be a busy hour heading into Metro News Hotline at 3:06 today. So thanks for joining us. And let's go right at the top here. We're going to Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny, because news broke this afternoon about Brad's done tons of stories on this in the past couple of months about the debt that the justices owe on the Greenbrier Resort and a new owner of the debt, and then the legal back and forth between those two about the future of the resort. And we've got some breaking news, some new developments today. Brad is with us. Brad, good afternoon. How you doing?
Oh, hi. Doing good. We've done a few of these stories about justice debts over the years, and they kind of go in cycles. And, often in an early part of the cycle, it looks very ominous, very threatening, whatever the financial threat may be. And then, there's a middle period where things kind of calm down. And Jim Justice himself has not said a whole lot during this one, but, you used to get everything's going to be fine in the neighborhood. It'll all be fine in the end. And then, usually the concluding chapter is a lawsuit gets dropped or another loan comes out of the blue and things get resolved for a period of time. Well, that's what appears to be happening again. The justices regarding the ongoing dispute over roughly $300 million in loans on the Greenbrier Resort and associated properties. They say that they have now gotten the financing from some other lender, some lender that is unnamed, an amount that is unnamed, but an amount that they say can be used to pay off the loan that was bought by the affiliate of Omni Hotels and Resorts, can resolve that issue. And, they've had other things hanging over their heads too, like outstanding tax obligations. So there's an element of this announcement that says, it doesn't specify, but it says that some of the money can be used to pay down those other obligations.
And so we don't know, right? We don't know who this is and we don't know how much. Am I right?
Don't know who this is. I'm not sure if we ever will. I mean, I believe the justices think that is a private financial transaction between the lender and themselves. Well, one way we could learn in the future is if there's yet another lawsuit over paying down that loan, but somebody has come to the rescue with financing. We also don't know how much it is. And then finally, we don't know the other side yet. Presumably, if you want to pay down, if you, Jeff, wanted to pay down your mortgage before it's really due, or pay your final car payment before it's really due, presumably you could do that, and presumably there would be a financial incentive for the lender on the other side. But, we have not yet heard from the Omni affiliates and companies, the Omni owners to this point. One thing that's, a question in my mind is, do the justices and the owners of Omni see eye to eye on what that payoff amount would really be? That may be one question. Finally, sometimes when there's been this kind of resolution of a financial conflict with the justices, the ending press release has said that there's an agreement to drop the lawsuits. Well, this one has lawsuits in federal and local court, and it doesn't specify that. It may be too early to say, but it doesn't necessarily say that this is coming to an end of the court system.
Brad McElhinny's with us, Metro News statewide correspondent. Finally, Brad, what do you make? Because there were a lot of things said in the lawsuits back and forth about the Greenbrier, what shape it's in, those type of things. I did notice in the announcement today that there was, there would be money for continued enhancements, preservation of the resort. Do you take from that although not admitting that that the Greenbrier needs to look better, that maybe there's enough money in this deal to make some improvements there?
I think so. And, I think this conflict has underscored the need for tender love and care at the Greenbrier. That has also been its reputation in public conversation around West Virginia. So, the statement here is that kind of money, through whatever the new loan is, would be available to do enhancements and long-term improvements to improve guest experiences. And so, I take them at their word on that. And I think, that this has brought public pressure on the Greenbrier to respond to that. And this is now a financial resource to get those kind of improvements done.
All right. We'll wait see what Omni has to say next.
Wait to see what Omni has to say next, either in their own statement or in the courts. This particular financial announcement indicates that the financing could come up June or so. Mm-hmm. So, the next step would be for Omni to accept it or not accept it.
Okay, Brad. All right. Good talking to you. Have a good weekend.
Hey, thanks. You too.
Okay. Brad McElhinny, Metro News statewide correspondent. His story at WVMetroNews.com. This is Metro News Midday, 2:13. Plenty to come this hour. Stay tuned. That and more next.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs and 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
On the next State of Minds,
I think if it wasn't for West Virginia, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Rhine has been rising over Seneca Rocks for millions of years. I wanted to capture it in a way that was authentic and maybe different than people have ever seen it before.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
.217 on Metro News Midday on this Friday afternoon. Jeff Jenkins in for Dave Allen. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go now to the city of Nitro. Rich Hively is with us, town historian, recorder. Rich knows everything to know about Nitro. And it's...
I wouldn't go that far,
Okay,
Jeff.
okay. I was going to say it's past, present, and future. I was really going to put you on the spot there, Rich. But, but you know, Nitro...
No problem.
Yeah, but Nitro has a rich history. And as the motorcyclists with the Run for the Wall came through the other night, it just kind of reminds you, again, of the historic background of Nitro. And at one time, how many people lived there because what was happening with the First World War. So fill us in, Rich, again, because it's always a good reminder.
Yeah, exactly. You're correct there. When the United States officially entered World War I back in, I think it was April of 1917, they soon realized that there was a shortage of gunpowder. So they sent a bunch of engineers out in like a 10-state area to select some locations to manufacture gunpowder. And Nitro was one of the, they actually chose 3 sites, and Nitro was one of the 3. The other 2 being Old Hickory, which is near Nashville, Tennessee, and Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville was canceled before everything got started. Nitro and Old Hickory were gung-ho. They jumped right in and were building the plant from day one. So ground was broken was right before Christmas in 1917 is when ground was broken here in Nitro. And the first thing they did was build a bunch of bunk houses, basically, over where the city park is now. There were 27 bunk houses, which I think it held 200 beds in each one of them. So, it's like 5,400 there practically overnight. And the government put ads in the newspaper all over the United States, trying to get workers to come to Nitro. That worked quite well because practically overnight, thousands of workers and trainloads of materials suddenly entered Nitro. Records indicate that actually over 110,000 people were on the payroll during the 11 months. At any one time, there was never more than 25, maybe 30,000 here at once, but over 110,000 people actually worked here during that 11 months in 1917-18.
Wow. And that's how the name sprung up too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right there. The name Nitro is actually from the term nitrocellulose, which is the main ingredient in smokeless gunpowder. A lot of people connect it to nitroglycerin, but that's not the case at all. Nothing to do with nitroglycerin. It's nitrocellulose. And that was a new thing then. It was smokeless gunpowder, and production started, pretty quick. You couldn't believe they built a town like this in 11 months, which included not only the housing, churches, schools, police, fire, along with explosive plant C to manufacture the gunpowder. You couldn't do that today.
No.
That's for sure.
Rich, what was so attractive about Nitro? Is it because it is along the Kanawha River, or you had a railroad, and you've got some flat land along the river? Was that the big draw?
You hit it right on the head. That's exactly what they were looking for. They wanted flat land, and this was basically farmland between the hill and the river. And they had the railroad already running through here. They had the Kanawha River. So, it was a perfect location. And, that's that was a selling point. So they immediately, started production right away.
And Rich, you guys have done a great job, and I think an increasingly great job of preserving the history. Share with the folks what you guys do, what's available, how you guys continue to do that, and what people can even come see there in Nitro.
Yeah, we, for a small town like Nitro, we have an amazing museum. We actually had a museum started back in 1982, so it's 44 plus years old. Jack Moody actually opened the first museum here in Nitro, which is on the corner of 21st Street and 2nd Avenue when it started. It moved from there to a room in the old high school, and room 100. Actually, a lot of people that went there would know exactly where that is. But then in 2015, we just realized that wasn't big enough. We needed something larger. And Carl and Cookie Clendenin actually donated the building at 2003 20th Street, which had been an A1 carpet business prior to that. They donated that to the city, and the city actually said, let's put the museum there. So starting in 2015, we started moving everything from the old high school room to the room there at 2003. We've got 4,000 plus square foot there now. The museum is divided into, we have what we call a military side, and then the other side we have the Nitro side. And the military side we call it the Wars Museum. We cover a lot of wars, everything from the Civil War up. We try to concentrate on World War I because that's when we were created. But we have a lot of military displays, exhibits. And then on the Nitro side, we have all things about Nitro itself, like we have pictures of a lot of the athletic teams, the bands, the majorettes, the cheerleaders, all kinds of old pictures from the 20s clear up to current. So, you can spend hours in there.
Yeah, and just real quick, Rich, and I'll let you go. Rich Hively, historian of the city of Nitro. Two famous people worked there, right? I'll let you tell. Well, maybe more than two, but the two I know of, pretty famous people. One an athlete and one an actor.
Yeah, you're right on top of that. The one most people recognize is Clark Gable. I think everybody knows that name. The first movie you think of is Gone with the Wind.
That's right.
But he was in, Lord, I don't even know, 70 or 80 movies, and a bunch of top-notch movies. He got Academy Awards. It Happened One Night, Gone with the Wind, Mutiny on the Bounty, The Misfits. He was just a tremendous actor, and he worked here during that summer. The word is that he worked. He also had a girlfriend that lived down in Welch, and for some reason, weekends he ended up in Welch.
Oh boy!
I'm not sure whatever happened to that relationship, but there's quite a bit about that.
That's a tough trip today. Even tougher then.
Yeah, isn't that true? And the other one, the sports personality, is Pie Traynor, a Hall of Fame third baseman that played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Any baseball fan would recognize that name, being in the Hall of Fame, but he also worked here. And in his biography, there's 3 or 4 pages in his biography about him working here in Nitro. So that's pretty neat.
Very neat. Okay, great. And give us the times for the museum when it's open.
The museum's open Monday through Saturday. It's open from noon to 4 o'clock. Except on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we stay open in the evening to 7 o'clock. So noon every day, Monday through Saturday, and then to 7 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And there's free admission. Doesn't cost you a penny to get in. You can spend hours in there. I'm in there quite often. There's still things in there. I say, wow, I didn't know we had that.
Right.
So it's very interesting.
Rich, I appreciate the time, buddy. Have a good weekend.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Okay, Rich Hively, historian, recorder, City of Nitro. Yeah, I mean that is cool. And we just learned a lot right there too. How quickly, because of the war effort, that the City of Nitro sprung up. And if you go by on I-64 now and you can look, and that's where the Kanawha River starts to just spread a little bit. It just you kind of get that little flat land and perfect place to, as Rich said, start producing the smokeless gunpowder for the U.S. troops for that were fighting in World War I across the seas. All right, so that's good information there as we head into the holiday weekend. Once again, lead story at WVMetroNews.com is this development today when it comes to financing for the Greenbrier Resort, really the Justice family. And, they owed $300 million to Carter Banks. And that debt was purchased by Omni Hotels and Resort, huge conglomerate, owns a lot of hotels and resorts. And, their plan was to, take over the Greenbrier. It appears from all the legal filings. Well, the justices had some negotiations with them. The legal filing said they could not come to an agreement. And so if you remember kind of how this story started, Omni was going to make good on its debt. I mean, want to try to make good, or trying to get the money, called for the debt to be paid. And so you had to go back and forth. And now the justices have announced that they've got someone else that is going to help them pay off that debt. And it's enough money also to make some improvements at the Greenbrier, it appears from the wording of the release that came out today. But we don't know who it is. And as Brad said, Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny, we mean that we may never know who it is, at least not in the near future, or how much it is, the money. And we may find out, some of how much it is. But anyway, all of that at WVMetroNews.com, WVMetroNews.com. All right, it's 2:28, and we're going to get a guest right in here, man. He is a busy guy. He's going to sit here. We're going to talk to him for a couple of minutes and then hold him just briefly after the break. Zack Harold is in here, recovering journalist, but, but he's here because now he is the executive director. He heads up FestivALL in Charleston. He's got a FestivALL hat on. Look at that.
Yeah, man, that's brand new merch right there.
Brand new merch. You're underway, man.
Yeah. FestivALL starts today. We had a little FestivALL Eve celebration last night, but yeah, the schedule, it begins in earnest today. 10 days of art, music, theater, dance, anything arts here in Charleston for the next 10 days through May the 31st as the city becomes a work of art for the 22nd time.
And this is your first.
This is my first big one. I joined the organization last August, so our FestivALL, which is a miniature version, that was my first thing. But yeah, this is the first real honest-to-goodness FestivALL as part of the organization.
All right, I know you're busy, but I'm going to spend just a couple minutes with you after the break, okay?
Please.
Okay, buddy, we'll do it. All right, it's 2:29. We've got news coming up, and then back with Zack Harold, and we're also going to talk to the National Guard Foundation, too, before the top of the hour. This is Metro News Midday. Good afternoon.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Got you an update on your forecast as we'll be watching likely chances of rain for the next 7 days again here for the state. For the next 5 days, potential precipitation here. The blues are around anywhere from a ½ inch to 1 1/4 inch with a 1 to 2 inch range favoring west and northeastern areas of the state, with locally higher amounts too. Today and tonight, remember the phrase, turn around, don't drown, that we say all the time. If you find any flooded areas, be sure to never drive through those. We have a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain Friday night favoring northwestern areas of the state. For that flash flood potential, some flood watches out as a result too. Cities like Huntington, Parkersburg, and other areas in the green favoring areas of Ohio and Kentucky as well. Could see some locally higher amounts of rain just here in the short term, with some moisture increasing. Had a high of 67 yesterday. Showers are generally likely for most of the state, with some pockets of moderate to heavy and excessive rain still playing out tonight. Again, more rounds of rain on the way. Flies here over forecast. It starts at home. Earlier this week, the New York City and Chicago area, they had some flash flooding too. Tampa's still heating up near 94. Watching for showers and storms popping up in areas of Florida today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, 60s for highs, low to mid 60s, lows in the mid 50s tonight. Showers and storms likely. Be mindful of any flash flooding potential. Eastern areas, showers become likely later in the day. Tonight as well, chance of thunderstorms, lows in the upper 40s. From east to west, 60s out east, 70s out west. Be mindful of any heavy rain, lows in the 50s tonight. And in western areas, again, be mindful of that marginal to slight risk of excessive rainfall today and tonight. Warm front for the holiday weekend, 81 on Memorial Day, and again for the next 7 days, likely chances of passing showers and storms with some warmer highs in the 80s through next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
On the next State of Minds.
I think if it wasn't for West Virginia, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Rhine has been rising over Seneca Rocks for millions of years. I wanted to capture it in a way that was authentic and maybe different than people have ever seen it before.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop. Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Join Kyle Wiggs, Coach Hunter, and Brad Howe weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television.
Will we? So let's get moving. Join the Parkinson's Foundation to learn more and register for an event in your area at movingdaywalk.org. That's movingdaywalk.org.
This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com.
And we're back. It's 2:34. Jeff Jenkins in for Dave Allen on Metro News Midday. Zack Harold with me, the executive director. Am I getting that right?
Yeah,
Executive director for Charleston FestivALL. FestivALL is underway. The city becomes a work of art. I've always loved that. That was, you can't get rid of that, right? I mean, you stick that.
That's the whole motto. That's the whole ethos of the organization. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it gets underway today. It's 10 days, right? 10 days.
Through May the 31st.
Yes.
And just about, something happening every single day.
Right.
Something amazing happening every single day. You can get the full schedule at festivallcharleston.com.
Now, a lot of these things are outside. Some of them, it's rainy, and it's going to be rainy. And I'm not putting a damper on this, but, these things happen. So what are you guys doing?
This is the risk you take when you plan an outdoor event. If we'd done this 1 week earlier, it would have been 90 degrees and clear. Now, we have, on Sunday, May the 24th, we have our Carriage Trail walk at the Carriage Trail up the side of the hill there across from downtown Charleston. We're working on finding some rain venues for the artists that we're bringing in so they can play. We'll be announcing all that on our website and our social media. We're easy to find. And, we have our Memorial Day, our first ever FestivALL Family Cookout is what we're calling it. It's supposed to be down there at Slack Plaza, and we've got all these wonderful vendors and street performers and musicians. So we're working on plans for that too. Just stay tuned to our social media. I don't have anything. There are things I could announce, but it's not nailed down quite enough for me to say anything. But yeah,
you guys
the show goes on.
The show goes on. That's important to say, right?
Yep.
So you guys do a good job on your social media, so that'll be where people would want to go.
Yep. The show must go on.
Yeah.
We got and a lot of our events are indoors, like our dance festival program on Tuesday night. That's at the Culture Center. We have we're bringing in the River Queen from Cincinnati, Ohio, to do a series of festival cruises. Well, as long as the river doesn't get up too high, they have to go home, that would be catastrophic. We would have much bigger problems than that if that was the case. But the top deck of that boat, where we had planned to do our programming, is open. But we can easily move it down into one of the lower covered decks, and we'll be ready to roll. And then our Capitol Street Art Fair, which is happening on May the 30th and the 31st, which I just think is the crown jewel of our schedule, with all the artists selling their stuff and the bands on the stage. We have tents that we bring in for that, so that's all covered, as long as it's not torrential.
Hopefully by next weekend we'll be
fine.
We'll be dry here, and it might be later this week. It doesn't look like raining all the time. There's going to be some breaks, so that's good. All right. So again, give me your best pitch here for FestivALL. Give me your best pitch.
FestivALL. Well, so I tell people this all the time. We take that all in our name very seriously. We want to represent all the forms of art, whether it's dance, music, theater, visual arts, and we also want to make it accessible for all of Charleston. So things are getting very expensive. I mean, it's hard to take your family out and have a good time and not spend $100 before you get out the door, if not 2 and 3 times that much. Most of the events that FestivALL offers are completely free, and they're all perfectly suited for all members of the family, young and old. It's an opportunity to get out, enjoy your family, enjoy what Charleston has to offer, celebrate our creative community here in town, and really kick off your summer here in town. So many amazing events happening all throughout summer. FestivALL, we've kind of changed the dates this year to position it as the kickoff.
Okay. All right. I will let you go, sir, but have a good 10 days here, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Zack Harold there with Executive Director of Charleston Festival. Go to their website, their social media. That way you can catch up on things. And there's merch, too, because he's displaying the merch.
Yeah, new T-shirts,
Yeah.
2 different new hats. Check us out. Anywhere we're at, we'll have them, and you can pick one up.
All right, man. All right, we'll see you. He's
Thanks,
going to walk
Jeff.
back down the street. Okay, Zach, see you. Appreciate it, man. 2:38, we're going to transition right into one of the great groups in West Virginia, the West Virginia National Guard Foundation. Frank Vitale is with us on that. We go to the phone with Frank. And Frank, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon. It's great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. First of all, give me just a couple of words on the West Virginia National Guard Foundation, what it is, so just to educate people who may not know.
Yeah, so we're a foundation that supports our active members of the Army and Air Guard here in West Virginia. And so we have a proud history and legacy of military service in West Virginia per capita. We're number 1 in the country for service. And so back in the early 90s, under the leadership of then Adjutant General General Tackett, this organization had been formed and has been supporting members of the active Army and Air National Guard and their families ever since then. So we continue to do that, and we are excited about our growth.
We talk about the growth. How's the growth been?
Yeah, so, for a long time, we've been sort of kind of just, helping people out quietly, and we haven't done a whole lot out in the public. And so maybe some folks haven't heard of us or familiar with us. But we're now, we have a website we're developing. It's still under construction, but it'll be ready very soon. And we're getting more public and more engaged with our supporters of military families around the state. So we have a board of directors that's very active now, and we're excited about our campaign that we're going to be launching this summer as we're preparing for the Gold Star Family Weekend at Camp Dawson here at the end of September.
Tell me about the needs, Frank. And Frank Vitale's with us with the West Virginia National Guard Foundation. Have needs changed for Guard members, or have they increased? How have they evolved?
Yeah, so, when you think about all of the, global, not just local, but global changes, and the different campaigns that our military has faced since the early 90s, as deployments increase and there's a higher demand for our Guard troops and airmen, needs change, right? And so when the foundation really gets active is when our Guard gets active. And so when deployments occur, family needs come up. And so we can be found often giving grants to families who have needs that arise, especially during deployment. And now, currently, we've got Guard members of the West Virginia Guard serving in law enforcement and helping in Washington, D.C. and other areas that we all know about. And as those demands increase, needs increase. And that's where our foundation steps in.
Without violating any confidentiality, give me a general example of a need that you may meet.
Yeah, so if you think about, particularly again, there's hardship that our families face. It's not just a service member, but our families, folks that are left behind, the children. And so when a washing machine goes down or a car breaks down or there's some financial need, those families can apply for a one-time grant to our foundation, and we don't ask for the money back. And so we've to show you how we're increasing our cadence, if you will, in fiscal year 2005, we gave out 18 grants. Already since fiscal year 2026 started, which was October 1, we've given out 37 grants. And so when a family has that need, whether it's a new washer or it's a lawnmower repair or something else, we try to step in and help meet that need. And we could not do that without the generous sponsors and supporters of the West Virginia National Guard Foundation.
What numbers are we talking here as far as numbers of Guard members and their families? And is it just active, or whose needs do you meet? What are the group of people? Yeah,
that's very fair. Whenever you're, philanthropy group and you're trying to support the needs of others, one of the things you have to be careful of is not trying to be all things to all people. And so, we are very closely connected to our West Virginia National Guard and Air Guard, Army and Air Guard. And so we focus on active Guard members and their families. So we don't, while we support our veterans, certainly, no question about it, our niche, our focus, our lane, our primary purpose is to support those active that are currently active. And active can mean, they're drilling with their units 1 weekend a month and doing their service and training, or it could mean full deployment. It could mean being in Afghanistan or Iraq or other theaters. So there are varying levels of what I mean by active Guard. But those are the folks and their families that we focus on supporting.
And we're talking, that's several thousands of people.
Absolutely. And if you look at the, where, the West Virginia National Guard, it again, we have an unbelievable history. I'm a former, officer in the West Virginia Army National Guard, and so I've been involved in uniform and now out of uniform. But if you think about how the nation has relied upon the West Virginia National Guard for generations, we're often the first that get deployed of the National Guards throughout the country. So yes, thousands of our folks can be deployed at any given time, and the National Guard tries to step in and help meet those very personal needs.
Okay, Frank, what's the best way to give? How can we give? How to do it?
Yeah, so we certainly welcome and we have various kinds of opportunities to give, particularly for like our Gold Star Family Weekend that's coming up in September. We'll have some giving opportunities to sponsor and to be a part of that event. And then we have other partnership opportunities. And as I told you, we're working on our next fundraising campaign that we're going to be launching this summer. But for now, folks can get in touch with me, Frank Vitale, and they can do that on my phone number. I don't mind sharing it, 304-288-0874. Or they can email me, fvitale, V-I-T-A-L-E, at forge, F-O-R-G-E-B as in Bravo, Z as in zebra.com. And we can help them with that. So we'll be putting out more materials, launching our website, and we welcome any business that wants to be a sponsor or be involved in the West Virginia National Guard Foundation, or a personal donor. We certainly welcome that as well, and we would encourage them to get in touch with me.
And finally, just have you expand on this just a little bit, because you mentioned that you are becoming more aggressive in a good way, getting out there in a good way. Is it because, those needs have grown? I think you mentioned that before. Is that really the impetus behind that?
Yeah, they truly have. For years, our adjutants general, I mentioned General Alan Tackett, and then, of course, General Jim Hoyer, General Bill Crane, and now our current Adjutant General Seward, they have all been extremely supportive. And we want to be supportive of them and the mission of the Guard. And as those deployments have increased, and now, not just, deployments abroad, but deployments here within the United States have increased, not to mention our flood relief and all of the relief that we provide here in our own state, those have increased. And so as those do, the demands increase and the family needs grow. And so we do need to step up our game, and we are in earnest stepping up our game, and we're going to become more visible. We're going to become more active and more supportive of our Guard and their families in the coming months.
Frank, we appreciate it. Great information and a great organization. We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, Frank.
And happy Memorial Day.
Yes, happy Memorial Day. Absolutely.
As we honor those that paid the ultimate price.
Absolutely, we do. Thanks, Frank Vitale there with the West Virginia National Guard Foundation. It's 2:47. This is Metro News Midday. We're coming back.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
With Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have 2 vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
I want to direct you to the website, wvmetronews.com. Lead story there. New financial deal in place, according to the Justice family, when it comes to the debt on the Greenbrier Resort. And also being covered this afternoon, the State Track and Field Championships, Day 1 underway at Laidley Field, or just getting underway. Joe Bricado and Greg Carey, they're covering that for Metro News. We're going to have a little quick segment here on Metro News Midday because I don't want to miss Value Time with Dave Weekly as we preview Hotline coming up, Metro News Hotline. It's 2:52. This is Metro News Midday.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Structure, routine.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, and lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Learn more at autismspeaks.org/.
Panhandle cleaning and restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. More than 60 countries. We do it all. Restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle cleaning and restoration, and we're gonna save you. At peacecorps.gov.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how...
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
Department of Health and Human Services.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
With Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have two vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
Public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
All righty. It's 2:56 on Metro News Midday. Jeff Jenkins filling in, and Dave Weekly is with me. And we've got breaking news here. Here we go, breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking. No, it's not so breaking for a Reds fan. Okay.
All right.
So the Reds today activated Eugenio Suarez.
Okay.
From the 10-day injury list. He's been on about more than 10 days. But with the the swing thing. What is that called when you swing and you mess up? He's been on the injured list.
Okay.
And they put Ke'Bryan Hayes on the injured list.
How convenient.
With a lumbar bulging disc. Retro 521. And so, anyway.
Well, that's interesting.
Yes.
Well, I mean, as a Pirate fan, Ke'Bryan Hayes has had back issues forever. In fact, he couldn't even ride in a car comfortably for a long time.
Yeah, maybe they do this. They send him down for rehab, work on his swing a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, right? I mean,
no, that's exactly what's probably happening.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, he could probably go on the IL almost at any time with the back injury. Right. But Suarez comes back, and so, we'll see what happens with the lineup for the game with the Cardinals tonight. Will he be, if Hayes is on the IL, that means Stewart's probably going to play third, right? And Gino will DH.
Or DH, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, Dave, I mean, you work an afternoon show. I know that you're up late at night sometimes.
Absolutely, every night.
I mean, okay, so will you tune in to the Mountaineers tonight with first pitch after 11 p.m. Eastern time?
Yeah, it's so funny. I couldn't believe it. I was prepping for the show earlier this week, and I was interested in the game that Utah and K-State was playing in. So I'm thinking, I'll tune over. The game was like in the first inning. at 11:30. I'm like, what?
There you go. That's tonight.
Yeah, so that will be tonight. We'll see what happens. You know, it was funny. We've talked so much about WVU, and they've had a great baseball season, and we're excited about, are they going to host a regional? Will they go to a super regional? Will they win the conference tournament? Then you tune into the game, and there's like 158 people there. Like literally no one at the game last night.
Yeah, no one there.
So there'll be fans there tonight because they're playing Arizona State.
Yeah.
So Sun Devil fans will be able to get to the game.
Yeah, beautiful
and there was a
facility.
smattering of Mountaineers. Yeah,
beautiful.
absolutely.
Yeah, surprise. I've been there. Watch spring training game there.
Yeah, there you go.
Great facility. Great. Okay, what's coming up here? We got about a minute.
Well, you know, just as we were leaving the air yesterday, we got the devastating news about Kyle Busch.
Very devastating.
You know,
Yeah.
and people are still trying to figure out what exactly happened to Kyle Busch. Two-time winner. He just won a truck race last weekend. You know, per capita, there are more NASCAR fans in our state than any other state in the country, believe it or not. More than North Carolina, more than Florida, more in Georgia. So our question of the day is about Kyle Busch, and maybe we'll get some more news about that situation. And I'm kind of following, hey, you know what? It's time for the state track meet, so you know it's raining. Right? Always raining, and that's the case again today.
It is the case. All right, that's Metro News Hotline. 3 hours of the best radio that you'll ever want on the Friday before Memorial Day.
Hear that, Ryan? You hear that?
I was going to say, is Ryan off the show today? I may have to revise my comment. All right. Hey, Dave Allen's back next week. We'll talk to him on Tuesday. And thanks to Amanda, obviously, Stephanie Polly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, guys. This is Jeff Jenkins on Metro News Midday.